What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today for another season preview, and we are moving on to the New Jersey Devils, as we are now at least halfway through. So, if you're at New Jersey, you know that the next two, you got the New York Islanders and the New York Rangers to look forward to. So, if you're a fan of those two fan bases, good for you. If not, it's about half a month left by the time I'm done with these. So, we'll see. New Jersey Devils, a team that you get one of two types similar to what team did I cover recently? A team of two types similar to last year's Nashville Predators, except they were kind of in reverse. 2024 National League gets in the playoffs, nobody expects them to. 2025 they fall out completely. New Jersey, after making the playoffs in 2023 for the first time in 5-6 years, they look like 2024 they're going to be great. They get Toffoli, and it doesn't go great. And then 2025 they come back. The problem is they're a bit injured, and they don't go far in the playoffs because of that. And this is a team that's a team that is built to win now. Their GM Tom Fitzgerald has done, I think, a very good job at bringing out the roster. I do have some questions about some stuff though. Coach Sheldon Keefe is in year 2. I think Keefe's a good coach. I think the Maple Leafs' flaws are squarely on the players. I do not blame Dubas one bit. I do not blame Sheldon Keefe really at all, because it takes some special kind of insane bad luck to lose Game 7 over and 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 over again. And we'll talk about that when we get to Toronto, so look forward to that. First line, I don't think this is the way it's going to go, but Puckpedia has it. Palat making $6 million until 2027. They cannot wait for that deal to be over. Jack Hughes, $8 million until 2030. He has to stay healthy this season. The downfall of this team last season was that they could not stay healthy. Meyer was out for a little bit of time. I believe Hischier missed a little bit of time, and Hughes was out for a lot of time. Then you have Jesper Bratt, who just keeps getting better every year. $7.875 million until 2031. He's, I think, better than anyone ever really envisioned him to be, and that's great for the Devils. Timo Meier on that second line, $8.8 million until 2031. Nico Hischier, $7.25 million until 2027. I have no doubt the Devils will re-sign him for another 8 years. It's just a matter of how much, and especially with that Palat deal, you can just give that money from Palat to Hischier, and yeah, problem solved. Nason, $2.75 million until 2027. That's a great deal right there. I've always liked Nason ever since he was with the Chicago Wolves, when I got to see him play here and pretty locally. So for Nason, he had a 20-goal season. I don't see why he can't follow that up. Gritsyuk's going to be an interesting one. He's an RFA in 2026, a younger guy. We'll see how he fits into the Devils lineup. Dawson Mercer, $4 million until 2027, who will be an RFA. The most divided player among Devils fans, it seems. I'm a big Mercer fan, so I really like Dawson Mercer. Third line center, I prefer him to be where Nason is. Nason's got the physical caliber to be on that third line, I think, in a better spot. But then who do you have playing that third line center? That's the question. Connor Brown comes over from Edmonton, $3 million until 2029. On the fourth line, you have Paul Cotter, who's been great, RFA in 2026. Cody Glass resigns after not being qualified, $2.5 million until 2027. And Dadonov, really good deal for Dadonov, $1 million until 2026 to be at your fourth line right winger. And by the way, he had over 20 goals last year, so you can't really complain with that. Depth up front, you have Lamico. You have McDermott, who's making $1.15 million until 2027. A bit much for McDermott, I will say. Mike Hardman has some NHL games experience. There's a lot of players in their minor leagues that have NHL experience, just not many games. Hardman still have some of the most. And then Bordeleau comes over from San Jose in exchange for Shane Bowers, who I didn't put on the board because he didn't play in the NHL last year, but they traded out Bowers. They got Bordeleau. I thought Bordeleau played fine in San Jose. He's an RFA in 2026. On the defensive side, the big question right now is Luke Hughes. RFA currently. They'll get a deal done. Matter of how much again, and for how many years. They say that they're trying to meet it up so Jack and Jack and Luke's are at the same exact year, so they have to be paid at the same time. But I could see why, but you're also your own person, so I'm not sure why you're also doing that. I would take the 8 years, but whatever. Brent Pesce, $5.5 million until 2030. Good defenseman. Put him on the top pair. I wouldn't, but when you have the second pair this team has, it's understandable why. Siegenthaler, $3.4 million until 2028. That's a pretty good deal right there. Hamilton, $9 million until 2028, and that's where the switcheroo comes. You give about $3 million of that to Siegenthaler, and Hamilton makes about $6 million. It's about even right there. Brendan Dillon, $4 million until 2027, and Kovacevic was extended for 5 years, $4 million until 2030. Definitely another bright piece in the which trade would they get Kovacevic in? I remember they got him from somewhere. I just don't remember where. Was it in the Markstrom deal? I don't think it was in the Markstrom. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Defensive depth. There's two big questions here. Simon Nemec, the second overall pick in 2022 behind Slafkovsky. He's an RFA next summer. Where exactly is he fitting into this lineup? And as well as Seamus Casey, who's an RFA in 2027. Two very young defensemen. Where are they fitting in this lineup? That's my question. You're not getting rid of Hughes. He's your top young defenseman. Pesci's a veteran. Hamilton's veteran. Siegenthaler, Dillon, Kovacevic. The benefit for those players having played as many games as they have is Siegenthaler and Hamilton have missed a lot of time. Kovacevic and Dillon have been overall pretty stable. Pesci's missed a little time, but for the most part has been fine. They've been filling in the gaps where there's injuries. The problem is they're good enough, I think, to be full-time NHLers. And it makes you question if we see possibly a trade with the Devils' defense. Maybe they move on from one of these guys. If they can move Hamilton, I think that they would. That $9 million cap hit is not very appealing, but we'll see. They also have Cholowski and Kalen Addison, RFA in 2026 as well. So there's depth here on both sides of the ice. In net, you have Jacob Markstrom, $4.125 million until 2026, and Jake Allen, $1.8 million, extended for 5 more years until 2030. Very good deal for Jake Allen to be your backup goaltender for the next 5 years. One of the best backups in the league without question. And it's kind of funny how the turnaround happened for this team. This team had no goaltending a couple years ago, and now goaltending, you could argue, is their biggest strength. Not to mention they have Nico Daws, who is an RFA in 2026. When he's come up, I had my questions about Daws and how much he can be a full-time NHL starter. But overall, I think the potential's still there. He's still a young goaltender, and the goaltenders always take a while to develop. Markstrom also expires in 2026. I assume he'll be extended. I forgot to mention some of their prospects here. They have two prospects that really stand out. Anton Silyev, who was one of the big three Eastern European defensemen that were drafted in 2024. You had Levshinov. You had, I should say three big Eastern Europeans. You had Levshinov, you had Demidov, and then you had Silyev. Silyev ended up falling to 10th overall to New Jersey, so that makes me question. I mean, Silyev's got a couple years, but where are they fitting into this lineup? You have 2030. These two are 2028. Dillon is the easiest at 2027. You have to fit 3 young defensemen into that lineup over the next couple years. And only one of them expires in the next 2. 3 of them in the next 3 overall. And then Yegoriev, one of the top goaltending prospects, currently playing in the KHL. New Jersey has his rights, so overall, we'll look forward to seeing the Russian pipeline of goaltenders just keep growing, because for whatever reason, Russian goaltenders have really taken over the goaltending landscape. Something that was non-existent, I'd say 20 years ago. You had Javi Bulin and Nabokov was from Kazakhstan, so you can't even say that. But you get the idea. So 2025, they go 42, 33, and 7, 91 points, which was 17th in the league. If this team stays healthy, they're better than that. We saw in 2023 what this team could do when they were fully healthy. They went to the second round. They ended up losing to Carolina in 5 pretty handedly. 2024, they missed the playoffs, and then because of injuries. 2025, they nearly missed the playoffs again due to injury. But they end up getting in, and they lose to Carolina in 5 in the first round. So what you want to do is, A, avoid Carolina in the first round, and secondly, even more importantly, stay healthy. Because when this team is healthy, they're definitely a dangerous team. And they were 3rd in their division last season, and they're in the Metropolitan, which is good news for them. The Metro is a weaker division than the Atlantic. Washington, I expect to fall back a bit. Carolina and New Jersey, I expect them to be battling out for the division. The wild cards are Columbus and the Rangers. Those two teams could definitely bounce back up. Columbus is playing on a lot of momentum after the passing of Johnny Gaudreau. I could see them falling back down a little bit, not by much. The Rangers, they could go up and down because we've seen a tale of two teams with that team as well. The Islanders, Penguins, and Flyers, they shouldn't have to worry about, but it's all about getting into a good start and definitely staying healthy for the New Jersey Devils. Additions for this team, there wasn't many. Brown, Dadonov, Bordeleau. Subtractions, Tatar, Sprong, both go over to play in Europe. Haula is traded to Nashville. Bastian goes to Dallas. Dowling goes to the Rangers. Lazar heads up to Edmonton. And Dumoulin signs in Anaheim. So, Dumoulin was there. Where are they getting these defensemen from, and how are they fitting them on this team? I'm really confused. I mean, they had Hamilton and Siegenthaler out long-term last year, so that makes sense. But just, like, where are these getting these defensemen from? But yeah, anyway, guys, that's going to be all I have for you guys in this one. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know down below what you think they'll do about their defenseman situation, as that's the most interesting thing to me. They have Nemec, they have Casey. Who do they replace in the lineup, and do you see a trade coming possibly with one of their defensemen heading out? If they can, is it Hamilton? Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. I shall see you all in the next one. Have a good one.